Hey everyone, and welcome to The Deep Dive. We're going to be talking all about global capability centers in India today,
Yeah.
specifically looking ahead to 2030.
Right.
So you're out there and you're thinking, okay, I want to get a GCC set up. What's the best way to go about it? Well, that's what we're going to be diving into today. So
Exactly.
we're using a report from YASH Technologies
Yeah.
called GCCs in India, a strategic outlook to 2030. And let me tell you, some of these growth predictions are pretty wild. We're also going to be looking at how the role of GCCs is transforming in some interesting ways.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for GCCs.
It is. So to kick things off, this report highlights a pretty massive boom that's expected for GCCs in India by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a potential market size of over $100 billion, maybe even hitting $110 billion.
Wow.
That's a huge leap from the estimated $73 billion for 2023.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is it's not just about getting bigger, it's a total shift in how GCCs operate. They're moving from being cost centers to becoming the heart of innovation and digital leadership. So for anyone who wants to establish a GCC, this is a huge shift.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay.
So why is India such a hotspot for GCCs? I mean, every country has its pros and cons, right?
Sure.
What makes India so special?
So the report refers to it as a trifecta of advantages.
Okay.
So you've got a highly skilled workforce, especially in tech, which is super important for GCCs.
Right.
And then you have government policies that are really, really friendly to foreign investment, making it easy for companies to set up shop.
Makes sense.
And on top of that, you have the infrastructure in India, which is constantly improving. So they're really focused on creating a good environment for businesses to thrive.
Okay, so it's the whole package.
Okay.
But let's be honest, there are other countries with really talented tech workforces.
Mm-hmm.
What's the real edge that India offers that, say, Malaysia or the Philippines don't?
It's the ecosystem. So India has a mature IT industry. You've got major tech hubs with established infrastructure and support systems. Plus, you have a deep pool of experienced professionals. And it's not just about finding individual talent. It's about tapping into this network of specialized vendors, service providers, and even academic institutions that are all geared towards supporting the IT industry.
Interesting.
So that kind of ecosystem is very hard to replicate.
Yeah, so I see what you mean. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything GCC related.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the report also stresses the importance of location strategy.
Right.
So where are these GCCs popping up? Are we still looking at the usual suspects like Bengaluru and Hyderabad?
So those are definitely still major players.
Okay.
Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, NCR.
Right.
They've got the infrastructure and the talent pool. But what's interesting is the rise of what we call Tier 2 cities.
Tier 2 cities. So we're talking about places that are up and coming but don't have the same level of development as those major hubs.
Yeah, exactly. Places like Visakhapatnam, Jaipur, Vadodara, Kochi, Chandigarh.
Right.
They are gaining a lot of traction. And Coimbatore specifically in Tamil Nadu is actually highlighted as a rising star for GCCs.
Interesting. I'm guessing cost is a big factor in this shift to Tier 2 cities.
Definitely lower real estate costs, potentially lower talent costs. It can be really attractive, especially for a new GCC that's trying to optimize its budget.
Right.
But it's not just about saving money. These cities are developing their own unique ecosystems, investing in infrastructure and attracting talent.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between cost effectiveness and having access to all the resources that you need.
Exactly.
Now, let's not forget about the people.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about a massive workforce here.
Absolutely. By 2030, the GCC industry in India is projected to employ a staggering 4.5 million people.
Wow.
So imagine that. You set up your GCC and you suddenly have access to a talent pool that vast.
That's incredible.
That's the scale we're talking about.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing. But with such a huge workforce, I imagine talent acquisition is getting really competitive.
It is. Companies really need to think about their employee value proposition.
Their EVP.
Yes, their EVP. It's not just about salary anymore.
Right. So it's about creating a company culture where people want to work, offering opportunities for growth and maybe even unique benefits.
Exactly. You have to make your GCC stand out. And that means offering more than just a paycheck.
Right. So we've got this huge potential workforce, but we also have to factor in the rising cost per employee, right? The report mentions an increase from $29,100 in 2023 to $37,760 by 2030.
Yeah.
That's a pretty significant jump.
It is. And it's important to understand where those costs are coming from. So if you break it down, a whopping 85% is attributed to salaries, while the remaining 15% covers things like travel facilities, IT, and communication.
So as someone who's thinking about establishing a GCC, how should I be thinking about these rising costs? Is it just the cost of doing business in a rapidly growing market?
It's more nuanced than that. GCCs need to demonstrate that they are delivering tangible value to justify those costs. So we talked about that shift from being cost centers to profit centers.
Right.
So it's about moving beyond just cutting costs for the parent company and actually contributing to the bottom line.
Exactly. You need to be generating revenue, innovating, improving your worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads us to another key trend: the growing role of technology in GCCs.
Right. Like all that buzz about AI and cloud computing and data analytics. It's hard to keep up. But let's focus on you. You're out there building a GCC. This report is talking about BOTs and managed services. But I'm seeing CoE everywhere. It feels like a buzzword. Convince me. Why should I care about these centers of excellence?
I hear you. It's easy to get lost in the jargon. But think of a CoE as a specialized task force, say for AI or cybersecurity. So you're not just building a general tech team.
Right.
You're creating a unit that can push the boundaries in that specific area.
Okay. I can see how having that team of experts, focused on, say, BOT development could give me an edge. But how do managed services fit into all of this? Is that about outsourcing certain functions to, experts?
It can be. Managed services are about getting outside help to handle specific operations. So it could be IT infrastructure, network security, data management,
Right.
Anything that's not your core competency.
So instead of building everything from scratch, I can leverage that specialized expertise and potentially save some money.
Exactly. It's about focusing on what you do best and letting the experts handle the rest.
Makes sense. Now, on the operational side, what are some of the biggest challenges that GCCs are facing? And how can those be tackled?
One major challenge is process optimization. You've got to be efficient and agile to stay competitive.
Right.
And that's where lean methodology comes in.
Okay, lean. I've heard of that. But remind me, what does that actually involve?
Think of it like this. You walk into your factory. You see piles of unused parts. People are running around frantically, but those finished products aren't coming out fast enough.
Right.
So lean is about identifying and eliminating anything that doesn't add value. It's about streamlining your workflows, minimizing waste, and creating these smooth, efficient processes.
So how does lean apply to a GCC, which is more about knowledge work than, physical production?
It's the same principle. You map out your processes, identify the bottlenecks, streamline those workflows, and empower teams to continuously find and implement improvements.
Interesting.
And it's data-driven, always asking, how can we do this better, faster, and with less waste?
So it's not just about cutting costs.
No.
But about being smarter with resources and constantly improving.
Exactly. And the report highlights some really interesting case studies that show lean in action within GCCs.
Okay. I love case studies. They bring everything to life. Give me an example.
One example is a global pharmaceutical company that set up a GCC in India for drug discovery and development.
Okay.
They implemented this cloud-based platform that connected their researchers and scientists worldwide.
So breaking down the silos and getting everyone on the same page.
Exactly.
I bet that boosted their innovation.
It did. They significantly reduced the time it took to bring new drugs to market.
Wow.
So think about the impact, not just on the company's profits,
Right.
but for patients waiting for these life-saving treatments.
That's powerful. Any other examples that showcase how GCCs are innovating?
Absolutely. There's a case study about a financial services company that used RPA to automate their loan processing.
RPA, robotic process automation. So that's about using software robots to handle repetitive tasks, right? What kind of impact did they see?
They slashed the time it took to process loan applications and freed up their employees for more complex tasks, like providing personalized financial advice.
Okay.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
So using technology to handle the mundane stuff and then letting the humans focus on those higher value activities.
Exactly. Now, this report also talks about the challenges of leadership within GCCs.
Right.
Because as these centers evolve, they need leaders who can handle this complex, ever-changing landscape.
Right. Makes sense. So what kind of leadership qualities will be crucial for a GCC to thrive in 2030 and beyond? Like if I'm out there building my GCC, what should I be looking for?
Well, flexibility and adaptability are key.
Okay.
So the ability to embrace change,
Right.
make quick decisions when things are uncertain,
Right.
those are essential traits.
Yeah. Because in the tech world, things change so fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You also need strong collaboration skills. So remember, GCCs are often part of a global network. So being able to communicate effectively across teams, time zones, and cultures,
Right.
that's essential for success.
So it's not just about managing the people within the GCC itself,
No.
but also about building strong partnerships with the parent organization.
Yeah.
Maybe even external stakeholders.
Absolutely. And of course, you can't ignore the tech side.
Right.
So leaders need to understand the technology deeply enough to identify opportunities, drive innovation,
Yeah.
and use those emerging technologies to create a real competitive advantage.
So it's about having that strategic vision.
Yes.
Understanding not just what the technology can do, but how to use it to solve business problems and actually create value.
Exactly.
But it can't be all about tech, right? What other qualities are important for effective GCC leadership?
The report emphasizes strong people management skills.
Okay.
So attracting and retaining top talent in this really competitive market is crucial.
Right.
It's about creating a learning culture, providing growth opportunities,
Right.
and empowering your team to do their best work.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's the people who make it all happen.
Exactly. It's about finding the right people and giving them the tools and support they need to thrive.
It sounds like the role of a GCC leader is getting really demanding.
Yeah.
It's like they need to be strategic thinkers and tech enthusiasts and skilled communicators and awesome people managers all at the same time.
Yeah.
No
Right.
pressure. Right.
It's a challenging role for sure, but also incredibly rewarding. And as we look ahead to 2030, the importance of strong leadership in driving the success of GCCs can't be overstated.
Absolutely. Now, we've touched on emerging technologies, but I kind of want to dig a little deeper. What specific technologies are going to have a huge impact on GCCs in the next few years? I'm assuming BOTs are at the top of that list.
BOTs are definitely going to be game changers,
Right.
especially as AI and machine learning continue to advance. But beyond that, the report also highlights the Internet of Things, or IoT and robotic process automation, or RPA, as technologies to watch.
Okay, IoT and RPA, those are definitely hot topics. Can you break down how these might be used in a GCC setting?
Sure. Think about IoT. It's all about connecting devices and gathering data.
Right.
Imagine a GCC that's managing a global supply chain.
Okay.
By using IoT sensors and data analytics, they can see exactly where goods are in real time, optimize inventory levels, and even predict potential disruptions.
Very interesting.
It's about taking control and being proactive.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. And RPA, how does that fit in?
So RPA is all about automating those repetitive tasks that eat up so much time. So think about your back office processes like finance, HR, customer service.
Right.
So instead of having humans manually inputting data or processing invoices, you can have software robots do it, freeing up your employees to focus on more strategic work.
So it's not just about cutting costs.
Right.
It's also about improving accuracy and freeing up that human talent for more important tasks.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
It is. Now, implementing those technologies, it can't be easy, right?
Yeah, it definitely has its challenges.
Yeah.
You need the right expertise, the right infrastructure, and a well-thought-out implementation plan. And that's where companies like YASH Technologies come in.
Right, because YASH Technologies specializes in BOT models and staff augmentation and all things innovation.
Yeah.
So they can really help companies actually implement these cutting-edge technologies and make them work for their specific needs.
Exactly. They have the expertise and resources to help companies set up scale and optimize their GCCs, ensuring smooth operations and, most importantly, a measurable return on investment.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about results. So for someone who's thinking about establishing a GCC in India, what's the key takeaway from all of this? What's that one piece of advice that you would give them?
Think big. Don't just see your GCC as a way to cut costs. See it as a chance to build a center of excellence, a place where innovation happens, a real differentiator for your business.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to partner with experts like YASH Technologies who can help you navigate the complexities and maximize your chances of success.
That's great advice. And it's clear from this report that the future of GCCs in India is really bright. We're going to see continued growth, innovation, and some exciting new developments in the years to come. It really is an exciting time to be in the GCC space. For anyone out there who's either already on this GCC journey or, about to take the plunge, I hope this deep dive has given you a lot to think about.
Yeah, we've covered a ton of ground.
We have.
But it's important to remember that this landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
What works today might not work tomorrow. So you need to be adaptable.
You got to stay ahead of the curve. And that Kind of brings us to our final thought for today.
Right.
Something for you to consider as you continue to navigate this world of GCCs.
So as GCCs evolve from those simple cost centers into these innovation hubs, they start to play a more strategic role for their parent companies. And this brings up a really big question.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the question?
How will leadership styles and organizational structures need to adapt to maximize success in this new environment?
That's a fantastic question. It's not just about finding the right people.
No.
It's about creating the right environment to support innovation and agility and collaboration.
Exactly. Something to think about.
For sure. So to wrap up our deep dive into GCCs in India, we've explored this incredible growth potential, the strategic importance of location and talent, how technology is changing the game, and the evolving role of leadership.
Absolutely. We've also seen how companies like YASH Technologies are stepping up to help businesses establish scale and optimize their GCCs, making sure that everything runs smoothly and delivers that real return on investment.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about results.
It is.
So as you continue on your GCC journey, remember to embrace innovation, put your people first, and stay flexible. And if you're looking for a partner to help you along the way, YASH Technologies is definitely one to consider.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.